We got our first fraud alert of the 2024 season. Oregon, I'm declaring, is a fraud. Last year, I declared USC a fraud after I think week 5 or 6 when they barely skated by Colorado. They had a huge lead in the first half, and Colorado stormed back. I knew right then that's when USC was not going to be great. At the time, they were undefeated, and they went on to lose about like 5 more games right after that. Now I'm calling Oregon as a fraud. I have seen enough in 2 games. I think they're a bit of a fraud in terms of what their expectations were. Their expectations were to compete for a Big Ten championship and win the Big Ten and also compete for a national championship. They may be lucky with their schedule. They may still be able to compete for a Big Ten championship, but they certainly, how they're playing right now, ain't competing for a national championship. They struggled versus Idaho. They struggled versus Boise State, and they really probably should have lost that game. They had 2 special team touchdowns that kept them in the game, and then a game-ending field goal. They have issues with the trenches. Ashton Jeanty ran all over them. So they had some serious problems on the D-line and offensive line. The D-line, they tried to bolster up in the portal, and then they recruited really, really well, and the D-line was supposed to be great. There's some serious problems there. Dylan Gabriel is not that dude, and he's like the kind of like dink and dunk. I mean, he did have some explosive plays, but he's like a lot of dink and dunk stuff. I think they downgraded from Bo Nix last year. And now they head into a rivalry game. They're 2-0, but they're facing an Oregon State roster that lost a lot of valuable pieces that headed to East Lansing with Jonathan Smith. So it's a roster that's not superior, but that proves to not really make a difference in these Oregon games. Idaho and Boise State are not as superior a roster as Oregon is, and they're in close games with both of those teams. So I said before, I think they may get bailed out because of how soft their schedule is. Like, they have Oregon State, UCLA, and Michigan State all next. Like, those are the UCLA and Michigan State, those are bottom dwellers of the Big Ten. Oregon State, like I said, just lost a ton. And after that, then they have Ohio State, which they'll get at home. They better be ready for that, because if they play Ohio State like they're playing now, they're going to get torched even at home. And then after that, they got Purdue, Illinois, Maryland, Wisconsin, and Washington. And they also have Michigan, but like we just saw what Michigan did last weekend against Texas. Which team really scares you? Like, their schedule is going to bail them out, and they're going to have a good record. But when push comes to shove, when they play an elite team, these holes and these games are not going to be close games win. They're going to be blowouts lost. So Oregon, I'm calling it now, first fraud of the 2024 season. Follow Big Body Ball CFB on all socials.